Hello, my name is Mariah Kyler, and I will be covering cognitivism in this presentation, as well as some key concepts. Here we have the table of contents to go over what we will be reviewing, such as what is cognitivism and how to apply it in a classroom, and three main concepts of cognitivism: perception, memory, and problem solving. To begin, our introduction. So let's start. What is cognitivism? It is described as the ability a person has to take in, retain, arrange, and recall information and utilize these ways of thinking to learn new information. Some key points of cognitivism are problem solving, critical thinking, rationalizing, deciphering, and perception. So, how can we apply this in the classroom? These are some things that you should be aware of when it comes to cognitive function in your classroom. Children learn differently based on a number of things, such as their cognitive development, their environment, or their mental capacity. When entering a classroom, students must be welcome in a way that is fostering. Knowing that they are in a safe place and a warm place will help them approach learning in a better way. Not enacting this can cause distance between the students and their want to learn. This means that in cold environments where they don't feel seen or heard, they can be turned off from learning altogether. It's important to keep an open dialogue with your students to check in and make sure that they are getting the help that they need and if they have any struggles. Keep in mind the developmental area students are in and be vigilant for students who respond negatively to tasks given in the classroom. Negative outbursts can be a result of students not understanding what's going on and lashing out. So now we'll move on to concepts and applications of cognitivism. The three main concepts we'll be reviewing are perception, memory, and problem solving. So to begin, perception. It's important to understand perception. Perception is defined as the cognitive function that allows a person to take in information via their surroundings. Using perception in learning can be beneficial by giving your students another way to interpret the lesson. How a student perceives the information they are given is one way to understand how they will comprehend it, and then how it will come out of them as well. It can also open up a dialogue between students. Cultural backgrounds come with different perception and views, allowing for a chance for the students to learn from one another. Breaking down the walls and opening up the gates of conversation is a great way to get your students connected and active in the classroom. Perception is key in expanding the students' knowledge of the provided topic. It's important for you to understand how they're perceiving your information, because if you don't and you continue, they will get lost. So let's talk about applying perception into your lessons. Perception tends to be better applied in group settings. Social perception helps us to learn about those who are around us. So that cognitive function of perception will be how one student understands another. Being able to open the gates of perception and open those lines of communication means that students will have a better understanding of each other. You can give your students a group project to focus on, which provides a chance of varying views. If they're focused on one topic but everyone has different opinions, they're able to talk through it together. Open discussions assist in perception as well, for a number of reasons, but primarily, everyone feels heard, no fear of being wrong, effective cognitive use, which is very important, and furthering the conversation. Students who tend to be more quiet or more outspoken can come together and hear each other. That way, they can work through their different cognitive functions and work harder and better together to understand your lesson plan. So here's an example of an activity that you can do in your classroom that will come with perception and strengthen this in your students. Scavenger hunts. Creating a scavenger hunt is fun for you and your students. Cryptic clues give students a chance to work together to achieve their end goal. Solving riddles or equations to gain a clue allows for more cognitive use. The way one student perceives a clue versus the way another does can lead to the better outcome. Assigning groups is a chance to mix up groups and connect students with one another. So some students who may never interact Having them together gives them different areas of perception, which can be changed or stay the same depending on what the lesson calls for. Numerous ideas are mixed together to win the game. Having different views is important. It gives a chance for students to open up their cognitive thinking and expand their views and thoughts on a topic. Our second concept is memory. What are the functions of memory? Well, to begin, memory is described as the ability to recall information that has been learned or experienced and move it through the stages of retention. Essentially, what we experience and what we read, learn, anything like that, and how it works through the different stages of memory. Memory is primarily broken down into 3 stages. First, we have sensory memory. This means information taken in through our senses. So, things that we smell, things that we see, touch, taste, these are all important for us to be able to take into our sensory memory, which then shifts into short-term memory. Short-term memory is described as what occupies our mental for a limited amount of time. A student reading a book once can retain that information for a short amount of time, but it may be replaced by something else if taken on too quickly and not read again. Repetition is very important to move things to your long-term memory. Long-term memory is described as information that is stored for a prolonged period of time and can be recalled through various means. Moving information from short-term and solidifying it into long-term memory can assist your students in retaining your lessons. It's important to touch base on topics again and again to make sure students are definitely understanding and then testing that. So, how can you utilize memory in your classrooms? Here are a few ways that you can do so. Creating lessons is a first step in ensuring memory can be used as a tool to recall lessons. Make sure that your lessons are not complicated. If the lessons are complicated, it can cause students to lose interest in the lesson. It can also lead to students having more difficulty bringing the information to the forefront of their memory. So if there's too much jumping around or there isn't enough focus on one topic for a certain amount of time, students could become uninterested or they recall the wrong information. When creating your lessons, begin to work in your newfound understanding of how memory works so that you can effectively connect your lesson to it. Keep in mind what we're learning today about memory and how it can impact each student differently. By doing so, you're better equipping not only yourself but your students for the future. One helpful tool for working memory in classes is mnemonic devices. Mnemonic instruction is described as the use of varying techniques to assist in calling information taught in classes. So here are 3 examples that we probably have all seen. The first are acronyms. One used in mathematics is PEMDAS, or Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally. It stands for parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. By remembering PEMDAS, the acronym, you're able to work through the proper way to get through an equation to solve your answer. Rhymes are also important. There are rhymes for remembering each month of the year and how many days are in each month. 30 days have September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31 except for February, who is 28. The third option is using the first letter associated to words to create another word. For example, Roji Biv, the colors of the rainbow. Roji Biv is a working tool, a mnemonic device, that can be used to remember red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Here are some examples of memory activities you can use in your classroom. It's a fun way to get your students involved in learning. You can create a dance to help your students remember what they have learned, whether they're using their bodies to shape out the letters of the alphabet or using a song and dance to point to the different bones in their bodies. You can also task your students with coming up with their own mnemonic devices. This leads to students taking part in their learning, and more involvement can lead to higher participation in class. If they feel more a part of it, they want to continue to be a part of it without you being there to work, to egg them on, and to bring them in. This can also be taken outside of the classroom in other classes and other areas of education and in life. Hanging posters around your room for reminders and motivators of mnemonic devices is a great way for them to work them into their cognition. They will see them every day and they will feel more confident in using them. The third concept is problem solving. Here is the importance of problem solving. It's a cognitive function that allows a person to work through an issue presented and solve it using various strategies. This technique can be used in both educational senses, but in real life as well. Teaching problem solving helps students to understand what their end goal is and to work hard to get there. This can be used in classrooms, but also in their personal life, especially if they have a job or if they're trying to further different areas of their life. Problem solving teaches navigation, stress management, and clear cognitive processing in order to achieve the goal. Students can build off of this skill and create habits that shape how they approach multiple areas of life. Understanding that stress can definitely be a part of problem solving and navigating it is a great way for them to gain that clear process into cognition. So, how can you apply problem solving in your class? Students must use the information they have from their comprehension of materials to solve the problems presented. It's a chance for you to observe and make sure that your students are fully understanding what you're teaching, that their cognitive process is working for the lesson presented. Applied problem solving in classes can also teach students to expand their creativity. Problem solving doesn't always have one answer. There are various avenues that they can use. Getting creative is a great aspect of that. Learning to work through problems is imperative to strengthening cognitive function. Viewing the problem from all sides reshapes how problems are handled, and students can address issues they may have in terms of processing cognition. But being able to see everything from different sides is another area of creativity, but it's also a chance for them to reflect. Problem solving can be exciting for your students as well. It can show them a new skill that they may not know they had. Using problem solving in lessons. You can provide a problem that needs a solution, modes of transportation that are better for the planet, for example, and hold brainstorming sessions. They're valuable in student engagement as well as group cognitive function. And critical thinking plays a major role in this. They're working as a unit to get to the end goal. You can provide an ethical dilemma for students to work through and come up with a solution. Ethical dilemmas provide examples of problem solving in everyday life. It takes the students outside of the classroom and teaches them how to apply the problem solving in real life. Having students determine one problem, whether it's in school or outside, that they can all work to find a solution for together. It gives them a chance to take the lead and can enhance their connection to the assignment and to each other. In conclusion, cognitivism is an essential part of human development and must be fostered. Establishing the role it plays in a classroom can be a key factor in a student's success. As teachers, it is part of your journey to develop a healthy understanding of cognitivism and how to incorporate it into your classrooms. What you learn becomes an extension of your students and guides their way through the academic world. Cognitivism is behind every lesson, every book, and every decision. Applying the concepts learned here today can be the boost your students need to connect with your lesson and grow in ways that follow them through their academic careers. Cognitivism is everywhere, and it always will be. And it's important at this time in a student's life to strengthen it and to help them find their confidence in it. Being able to confidently use your cognitive functions through problem solving, through memory, and through perception is a great way for students to stand on their own and excel in this world. You, as an educator, know that from firsthand experience, as well as how to apply it now. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Once again, my name is Mariah Kyler, and this has been my presentation on cognitivism. If you have any questions, we can meet after the presentation and I will be happy to answer them. Thank you.